Welcome to the second generation Nissan Kicks. My name is Jimmy, and for 2025, Nissan has ditched the old Kicks completely and gave us a brand new one. And what that means is everything is bigger, we get more power, and available all-wheel drive. Power! Okay, there's not a lot of it, but it's definitely quicker than before. We'll get to the powertrain later. Let's talk about just how it looks first. The new Nissan Kicks is the new Nissan design language. The LED headlamps are different now. You got these vertical daytime running lamps. It's definitely a very different look. The front end, especially with this black piece right here in the center with the red. Well, you can let me know how you feel about it in the comment section down below. But some people is not a big fan of it. But let's be honest, the old Kicks wasn't a great looker neither. So this, well, I think it's an improvement. At least it looks fresh. It looks new. It looks definitely, well, like it's been styled. Especially when we look at the back, LED tail lamps back here, and just how it haunches out. It's really, really cool. It almost looked like, well, it's been styled to have a little bit more presence on the road than your standard Kicks was way back when. This is the top SR premium trim here in Canada. So I got all the bells and whistles, including 19-inch wheels. The base comes with 16, so these are massive comparing to that. They are a little bit odd looking with this kind of tri-spoke thing, but wheels is definitely something you can alter in the aftermarket world, so I'm not going to complain about that too much. In the rear, there's no power tailgate, but it does reveal 30 cubic feet of space, which is quite a bit. And under the floor, you can actually take this foam out if you don't need it. I mean, yeah, you kind of lose the space where the fix-a-flat kit kind of goes, but I'm sure you can place it somewhere and still have it readily available, and you can get a little bit more space. Well, of course, you can fold the rear seats 60-40 as you need. As for the rear seats, I'm 5'11", headroom, legroom, not a problem in here. It's decently comfortable. I don't get vents in the center, but I do get 2 USB ports and 2 cup holders in the center if I'm not carrying anyone. If you're thinking of carrying kiddos in here, well, on the driver's side, this is a Collect Lane infant seat. No problems getting an infant carrier in here. I did have to move the driver's seat just a tad forward, but it was still very comfortable for me. On the passenger side, this is a Collect Fifth in rear facing. So if your kiddo's like up to like 4 years old or so, they'll be sitting like this. When they get a little bit older and they go forward facing, this is a Collect Flow in forward facing here. There are 2 sets of lower anchors, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger. They're just between the bite of the seat, so they might be a little bit more difficult to find than some others with like a big flap that opens, but it's fine. You get 3 upper anchors just behind the bench. As for the front seats here, pretty comfortable. You won't find leather in here. It is this cloth mixture, and it's fine. It's heated, and being the top trim, I do get these Bose speakers in the headrest, which does elevate the soundstage a little bit, but it's not all that necessary, let's be honest. Heated steering wheel is very similar to like the Rogue and other Nissan products. Works well. All the buttons are kind of naturally where you think they should be, and you get a full digital cluster behind that as well. The digital cluster is decently customizable with 2 different themes, and you can change what you see in the middle. What I like the most is there's an illumination button, a brightness button just on the top left here, just to make night driving a little bit easier. No heads-up display, but that's fine. Infotainment, it is a Nissan's latest system. It's still a little laggy. Like, Nissan can't make a system that's like just smooth. Like, I don't know why, but it does work well. Like, I have my phone connected to it with Apple CarPlay. Wireless CarPlay has been working well. It sounds all right. No real big issues with it. The only thing is like climate control. Unlike previous where there was some physical dials, this is all just a digital panel down below. For me, I just hit auto and I change the temperature as needed, and that's fine. So I don't find it that big of a deal, but I definitely do understand that some people absolutely hate this system. So your mileage may vary. Definitely check that out. You do get a dedicated volume knob, but it's in between the vents. So at first it might be a little bit difficult to find, but once you find it, it's actually a really nice placement because you can rest your hand on the shifter and still be able to get that volume knob. It's actually a really good placement for it. Down below, you do get some drive modes, but let's be honest, they don't do all that much. Yes, it changes the logic of, the variable transmission, but really just leave it on normal and just let it do its thing. It's probably the best thing you can do for it. Because underneath the hood, this 2-liter, while yes, it definitely makes more power than the previous at 141 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque, it is definitely not some powerhouse, but it's a Kicks. It's like a city vehicle, right? You don't expect it to be. But let me wait for this light to turn green so I can show you what acceleration sounds like, because that may put you off. Yeah, it's a little loud, but you probably aren't gonna put the pedal all the way to the floor every single opportunity that you get, right? Probably not. And if you're not, then you should be absolutely fine. I mean, for a city vehicle, this has more than enough power. The CVT transmission does what it needs to give you the best economy and the most use of that 2-liter. And with the all-wheel drive now and the bigger overall size of the vehicle, there's just more weight to it than before. So it's not as fun and it's not as light and tossable as the old one. But if you still want the old one, at least here in Canada, you can. Because here in Canada, you can still get the old Kicks and they just renamed it to Kicks Play. You save a bit of money there too. It's priced less than that of the base version of the new Kicks. Like I said, yes, you lose down on power and no all-wheel drive, but it's actually decently economical. I mean, fuel consumption on the EPA is very similar between the two, but in the city, this is like rated 8.1 versus the old one is 7.7. So if you're traveling just city, the old one might be a little bit better. But I mean, let's be honest, you get a lot more toys in here. The materials actually feel pretty good. And it feels like a much more upscale vehicle than the previous generation. I mean, you get LED lights on the inside. You definitely didn't get that on the old one. Overall, for this, I like it. Priced just under 35,000 Canadian or about 28,000 US. It's right in line with like the big players like Crosstrek, HRV and whatnot. The biggest reason I would pick the Nissan is just because, they just have really good rates. And for a vehicle like this, you're not going to be going in and paying cash, let's be honest. And with the better rates, it just means that you're able to get into it easier. And that just makes sense, doesn't it? And it actually has a decent amount of tech. I mean, the adaptive cruise works well, lane centering is good, heated seats, heated steering wheel. I mean, what more do you really need in a vehicle in 2025? In any case, let me know what your thoughts are on the Kicks in the comment section down below. Is it weird, too weird, or just weird enough? I'll catch you next time. Take care.